3:15 in the morning, and I'm staring at the ceiling like it holds the secrets of the universe. It doesn't. It just holds water stains from when Isla's precious brother Derek decided to fix our upstairs bathroom last spring. The same Derek who thinks a Phillips head screwdriver is something you order at a bar. Laya's breathing beside me is too even, too practiced. She's awake too. Probably planning tomorrow's lies, or today's lies, technically. Time moves differently when your marriage is circling the drain. Owen. Her voice cuts through the darkness. You awake? Unfortunately, before we dive deeper into this story, I have one small request. Please subscribe, drop a like, and tell me in the comments what city you're watching from. She shifts, and I catch that perfume again. The expensive stuff she saves for special occasions. Funny thing is, we haven't had a special occasion in months, unless you count her monthly creative retreats with the team from Horizon Agency. I'm leaving early tomorrow, conference in Boston. Right, the conference. I keep my voice flat with Ben Foster. It's a team thing. Owen, you wouldn't understand. There it is, the dismissive tone that's become her default setting. Owen, the contractor. Owen, the blue-collar husband who wouldn't understand the sophisticated world of advertising. Owen, who built this house with his own hands, but somehow isn't smart enough to grasp the complexities of selling overpriced soap to suburban housewives. Try me. It's about market positioning and demographic targeting, creative synergy. She's talking to the ceiling now, not to me. Ben thinks we can revolutionize the way people think about luxury brands. Ben thinks. Ben says. Ben believes if I had $1 for every sentence Leia started with Ben's name in the past 6 months, I could buy my own ad agency. Hell, I could buy Ben. Sounds riveting. She turns toward me, and in the dim light from our alarm clock, I can see that look. The one that says I'm being unreasonable again, that I'm the problem. You know what, Owen? Maybe if you showed some interest in my career instead of just making sarcastic comments, we'd have something to talk about. I'm interested. I'm fascinated by how much overtime you've been putting in lately. All those late nights at the office, all those weekend strategy sessions. That's what success looks like. Some people work for it instead of just complaining about everyone else. The room goes quiet, except for the hum of the air conditioner and the distant sound of Mrs. Klein's dog barking next door. Mrs. Klein, 73 years old and sharper than most people half her age. She sees everything from that kitchen window of hers. Everything. What time's your flight? 7:30. I'll grab a cab. I could drive you. Ben's picking me up. It's easier. Of course he is. Ben Foster with his leased Porsche and his trust fund confidence. Ben, who's never built anything with his hands, except maybe a house of cards with Daddy's credit cards. Leia's already turning away from me, pulling the covers up to her chin. Conversation over. Marriage over, probably. Though neither of us has said it out loud yet. I lie there for another hour listening to her breathe and thinking about keys. Physical keys, digital keys. The keys to understanding what went wrong. When did I become the stranger in my own house? When did my wife start looking at me like I was something she'd scrape off her shoe? The alarm goes off at 6. Isla's already in the shower, humming something I don't recognize. She's packed her good suitcase, the leather one we bought for our honeymoon 8 years ago, back when she still laughed at my jokes and didn't flinch when I touched her. I make coffee and watch her get ready through the kitchen doorway. She's wearing the black dress, the one that costs more than most people make in a week. The one she bought 3 months ago and claimed was for important client meetings. You look nice, I say when she comes downstairs. Thanks. She doesn't look at me, just grabs her coffee and checks her phone. Always checking that phone. Ben's running late. Traffic. Shocking. Rich boy's never on time for anything. Don't start, Owen. I'm not starting anything, just making an observation. She finally looks at me, and for a second I see something that might be guilt, or maybe it's just annoyance. Hard to tell the difference anymore. I'll be back Sunday night, late. I'll leave the light on. A car honks outside. Leia grabs her suitcase and heads for the door, then stops. For a moment, I think she might say something real, something honest. Try not to burn the house down while I'm gone. The door closes behind her with a soft click. Through the window, I watch Ben Foster get out of his Porsche to help her with her bag. He's wearing a suit that probably costs more than my truck, and he's got that smile. The one that says he's winning, and he knows it. They drive away, and I'm alone with my coffee and the morning light streaming through windows. I installed myself, windows that frame a view of the life I thought I was building. That's when I noticed Isla's gym bag by the back door, the one she takes everywhere, the one that's supposedly full of workout clothes and protein bars. She forgot it in her hurry to meet Ben. I shouldn't look. I know I shouldn't look, but my marriage is already a crime scene, and I'm just collecting evidence at this point. The bag unzips easily. Workout clothes, like she said, protein bars, and underneath, wrapped in a towel, a second phone. An iPhone I've never seen before, still warm from recent use. It's not locked. Leia never was good with technology. The text messages load and my coffee goes cold in my hand. 3 months of messages. 3 months of can't wait to see you, and Owen's working late again, and the hotel room is perfect. There's a voice message from yesterday, Ben's voice low and intimate. Can't wait to get you out of that black dress tomorrow night. I've got champagne and some ideas about how we should celebrate closing the Morrison account. The Morrison account. The one Leia told me they lost last week, the one she was so devastated about. I scroll through more messages and the picture gets clearer. Hotel reservations, dinner plans, photos I don't want to see but can't stop looking at. My wife's life, the real one, the one that doesn't include me. There's a calendar app too. Boston Conference is there, all right, but it's marked as Ben's Place Weekend Getaway. The conference ended yesterday. I set the phone down carefully, like it might explode. Maybe it already has. The house feels different now, quieter, like it's holding its breath, waiting to see what I'll do next. The smart lock on the front door blinks green, waiting for the next authorized entry. Leia's code, the one she programmed 6 months ago, the one that lets her come and go as she pleases. I pull out my own phone and open the app that controls our home security system. It takes 30 seconds to change all the codes, 30 seconds to lock her out of the life she's been taking for granted. Then I start packing her things. Not everything, just the essentials. The expensive dresses, the jewelry I bought her for anniversaries she's forgotten, the perfume that smells like betrayal. I pack it all in boxes, neat and organized, like the construction projects I manage. Mrs. Klein is watching from her window when I load the boxes into my truck. She waves, and I wave back. Mrs. Klein knows. She's always known. The look in her eyes tells me she's been waiting for this moment almost as long as I have. I drive the boxes to a storage unit across town and pay for 6 months in advance. Then I stop at my lawyer's office and start the paperwork. Divorce papers, the kind that ask uncomfortable questions about assets and infidelity, and the fair division of a life that was never fair to begin with. By the time I get home, it's almost noon. The house feels bigger somehow, like it's stretching its arms after a long sleep. I pour myself a bourbon and sit in my workshop, surrounded by the tools and projects that make sense. Wood doesn't lie. Nails don't cheat. A well-built joint holds strong year after year. My phone buzzes. A text from Leia. Having a great time. Hotel is beautiful. Miss you. I don't respond. Instead, I write a letter. Old-fashioned pen and paper. The kind of communication that can't be deleted or denied. Leia, I write. I found your phone. I know about Ben. I know about the hotels and the lies and the 3 months of playing me for a fool. Your things are in storage. The locks are changed. When you get back from Ben's place, not Boston, Ben's place, we'll talk about lawyers and division of assets and how much your freedom is going to cost you. I hope it was worth it. Owen. I seal the letter in an envelope and tape it to the front door. Then I sit on my porch with my bourbon and wait for Sunday night to arrive. Mrs. Klein comes over around 5, carrying a plate of cookies and wearing the expression of someone who's been rehearsing a conversation. Owen, honey, you doing all right? Just fine, Mrs. Klein. Just fine. She sits in the chair next to mine, the one Leia never uses because it's not comfortable enough for her taste. I saw some moving boxes earlier. You folks going somewhere? Just Leia. She's going on a permanent vacation. Mrs. Klein nods like this makes perfect sense. That boy in the fancy car been coming around a lot lately. Usually when you're at work. I figured I got eyes, Owen. I got eyes and I got a memory. And I remember when that girl looked at you like you hung the moon. That was a long time ago. Not so long. People change, though. Some people change into something you don't recognize. We sit in comfortable silence, watching the sunset over the neighborhood I helped build. Half the houses on this street have my work in them. Kitchens I remodeled, decks I built, problems I solved with my hands and my brain and my willingness to show up every day. What you going to do now? Mrs. Klein asks. No, heck. I'm going to finish what she started. Sunday night arrives like a storm front, all pressure and electricity. I'm in my workshop when I hear the car pull up. The Porsche's engine is distinctive, even when it's trying to be quiet. I hear Leia's footsteps on the front porch. Hear her fumble with keys that don't work anymore. The smart lock beeps twice, rejecting her code. She tries again. Same result. Then I hear her voice through the door. Owen? Owen! Something's wrong with the lock. I don't answer. I just listen to her try her code 3 more times before she finds the envelope. The silence that follows is worth every sleepless night, every suspicious text, every lie she's told in the past 3 months. Then she's pounding on the door, and Ben's voice joins hers. They're both out there, both angry, both demanding to know what I think I'm doing. I think I'm changing the locks. I think I'm taking back my house and my dignity and my life. I think I'm done being the fool in someone else's story. But I don't tell them that. Not yet. Monday morning comes with the sound of my phone ringing at 6:30 a.m. Leia's number, of course. I let it go to voicemail, then listen to her message while I make coffee in a kitchen that feels like mine again. Owen, this is ridiculous. We need to talk like adults. I'm staying at the Marriott downtown, room 237. Call me. Adults? That's rich. Adults don't sneak around with second phones and fake business trips. Adults don't lie to their spouse's face for 3 months straight. I delete the message and head to work. I've got a bathroom renovation in the Riverside district, and there's something therapeutic about tearing out old fixtures and building something new, something that works. My crew is already there when I arrive. Tommy and Dave, 2 guys who've worked with me for 5 years. They know me well enough to see some things different, but they're smart enough not to ask questions. Morning, boss, Tommy says, not looking up from the tile he's measuring. Heard your wife's out of town again. Not anymore. She's back. Permanently unemployed, but back. Dave raises an eyebrow but keeps working. These guys have heard enough of my marriage troubles over the years to know when to mind their own business. My phone buzzes. Text message from a number I don't recognize. This is Ben Foster. We need to talk. Meet me at Horizon Agency at noon. I show the message to Tommy. You know what this is? Rich boy trying to control the situation. That's what I thought too. I text back. I don't take orders from you. If you want to talk, come to my job site. 1247 Riverside Drive. Come alone. The response is immediate. That's not happening. Then we don't have anything to discuss. I put my phone away and focus on work. There's something satisfying about demolition, about taking apart something that's broken beyond repair. The old bathroom in this house is a mess of bad decisions and cheap shortcuts. The previous owner tried to do it himself, and it shows. Crooked tiles, leaking pipes, electrical work that would make a building inspector weep. Kind of like my marriage now that I think about it. Around 11, I get a call from Frankie Duca. Frankie runs Murphy's Pub, the kind of place where contractors and cops drink beer and tell the truth. We've been friends since high school, back when I was dating cheerleaders and he was getting suspended for fighting. Owen, you got a minute for you? Always good, 'cause I got some information you might find interesting about your wife's boyfriend. I step outside away from my crew. I'm listening. Remember my cousin S? Works security at that fancy apartment complex on Harbor Street. Yeah. Well, turns out your boy Ben's been renting a place there. Monthly lease, paid in cash, real discreet. Like S says, he's had a lot of female visitors lately. Different women, different times, including my wife. S doesn't know your wife by sight, but he described a blonde in a black BMW ring. Any bells? Leia's car, the one I helped her pick out last year because she wanted something sophisticated. When did this start? About 4 months ago, right around the time he started working at that ad agency with Leia. 4 months. A month longer than I thought. I feel something cold settle in my stomach, something that might be rage or might just be clarity. Frankie, you still got connections at the DMV? Maybe. Why? I want to know everything about Ben Foster. Where he lives, where he's from, what kind of car payments he's making. Everything. Owen, you sure you want to go down this road? I'm already on it. Just need to know where it leads. I hang up and go back to work, but my mind's elsewhere. 4 months of lies. 4 months of my wife coming home and kissing me on the cheek and asking about my day while she's got another man's hands all over her. At noon, Ben Foster shows up at my job site. He's traded the Porsche for a black Audi today, probably trying to look more serious, more intimidating. He's wearing another expensive suit, and an expression that says he's used to getting his way. I'm on the roof replacing some damaged shingles when I see him park. He gets out of his car and looks around like he's visiting a foreign country. This is a working neighborhood, the kind of place where people fix their own problems and don't call lawyers every time someone hurts their feelings. Owen Price. He calls up to me. That's me. We need to talk. So talk. I can hear you fine from up here. He looks uncomfortable standing there in his 1,000 shoes, while my crew watches from the windows. Good. Uncomfortable is exactly how I want him. This is a private matter. Nothing's private anymore, Ben. You made sure of that. I climb down the ladder, taking my time. Ben's trying to look confident, but there's something nervous in his eyes. He's not used to being on someone else's turf. Look, he says when I reach the ground. I know this is awkward, but we're all adults here. Leia and I, we have feelings for each other. Real feelings. This doesn't have to get ugly. Ugly? I wipe my hands on a rag, studying his face. You think screwing another man's wife for 4 months is pretty? It's not like that. What's it like, Ben? Enlighten me. He glances around, noticing that Tommy and Dave have found reasons to work closer to where we're standing. Maybe we should go somewhere more private. I'm comfortable here. These are my guys. They've heard worse. Ben's jaw tightens. He's used to controlling conversations, used to being the smartest guy in the room. But this isn't his room. Fine. Leia's unhappy, Owen. She has been for a long time. She needs someone who understands her ambitions, her goals, someone who can support her career. Someone with money, you mean? Someone who appreciates what she brings to the table. And what's that exactly? Besides a talent for lying, she's brilliant, she's creative, She's wasted in this. He gestures around at the neighborhood, at my truck, at me, in this life. There it is. The truth, finally. I'm not good enough for Leia. My blue-collar life, my working man's hands, my lack of trust fund sophistication, it's all beneath her now. So you're doing her a favor? I'm giving her what she needs. What she needs is a divorce lawyer, which she's going to get real soon. Ben's confidence cracks a little. Owen, be reasonable. Leia doesn't want to hurt you. We can work this out like civilized people. Civilized people don't sneak around for 4 months. Civilized people don't lie to their spouse's face every single day. It's complicated. No, it's not. It's simple. You wanted my wife, so you took her. Now I'm taking her back. You can't force someone to love you. I'm not trying to. I'm just making sure she understands what love costs. Ben steps closer, and I can smell his expensive cologne. The same scent I've been smelling on Isla's clothes for months. What's that supposed to mean? It means your girlfriend's about to learn what happens when you burn bridges, starting with the one that leads home. Are you threatening me? I'm explaining consequences, something your daddy's money probably never taught you about. Ben's face goes red. You don't know anything about my family. I know enough. I know you're 38 years old and still living off trust fund payments. I know you lease that fancy car because you can't afford to buy it. I know you rent that apartment on Harbor Street because no bank will give you a mortgage. His mouth opens, then closes. Frankie's research was better than I expected. How did you... This is a small town, Ben. People talk, especially about rich boys who think they can take whatever they want. I turn to walk away, but he grabs my arm. Big mistake. I spin around and get right in his face. Take your hand off me. He lets go, but he doesn't back down. This isn't over. You're right. It's just getting started. Then gets back in his Audi and drives away, leaving tire marks on the asphalt. Tommy and Dave come outside, both grinning. Boss, Tommy says, that was better than cable TV. Just getting warmed up. That evening, I drive to Murphy's pub. Frankie's behind the bar polishing glasses and listening to old-timers complain about the Red Sox. The place smells like beer and honesty, two things in short supply in my life lately. Owen. Frankie waves me over. How'd your meeting go with Prince Charming? About like you'd expect. He thinks he's doing Leia a favor by rescuing her from her blue-collar husband. And what do you think? I think he's about to learn why you don't mess with a man's family in a town where everybody knows everybody. Frankie pours me a bourbon, the good stuff he keeps under the bar. What you got in mind? Remember in high school when Danny Morrison thought he could steal your girlfriend? Yeah, took him 3 weeks to live that down. What if I told you Ben Foster's got secrets, the kind that don't look good in the light? I'd say you got my attention. I pull out my phone and show him the research I've been doing. Ben Foster isn't just a trust fund baby. He's a trust fund baby with problems. Gambling debts, a DUI he managed to keep quiet, a previous job he left under mysterious circumstances that involved missing client funds. Holy Owen, where'd you get all this? Amazing what you can find when you know where to look. Public records, court documents, credit reports. All perfectly legal. And you're going to do what with it? I'm going to make sure everyone in town knows exactly who Ben Foster really is, starting with his boss at Horizon Agency. Frankie grins. You always were a vindictive bastard. I prefer thorough. My phone buzzes, another text from Leia. Owen, please call me. We need to talk about this like adults. I show the message to Frankie. What do you think? I think she's scared. Good. Maybe now she'll understand what she threw away. I type back. We'll talk when you're ready to tell the truth. All of it. The response comes immediately. What do you want me to say? I want you to say you're sorry. I want you to say you know what you did wrong. I want you to say you understand why I changed the locks. 3 dots appear, then disappear, then appear again. Finally, can we meet somewhere neutral tomorrow night? I think about it. Part of me wants to drag this out, make her suffer the way she made me suffer. But another part of me, the part that remembers loving her, wants to hear what she has to say. Murphy's Pub, 8 o'clock. Come alone. Ben wants to come with me. Then you don't want to fix this as much as you claim. Another long pause. Then fine, 8 o'clock. I put my phone away and finish my bourbon. Tomorrow night I'll hear her excuses and her justifications and her reasons for throwing away 8 years of marriage. I'll listen to her explain how Ben Foster is everything I'm not, how he can give her things I never could. And then I'll show her exactly what she's lost. Tuesday drags by like a funeral procession. I spend the day installing crown molding in a lawyer's office, which feels appropriate given my current circumstances. The lawyer, Patricia Hendricks, is handling my divorce paperwork. She's a sharp woman in her 50s who doesn't suffer fools and doesn't believe in fairy tale endings. Your wife's attorney called this morning, she tells me during my lunch break. They want to discuss settlement terms already. She just got served yesterday. They're hoping to avoid a messy court battle, especially if certain information about her relationship becomes public record. What kind of information? Patricia gives me a look that could cut glass. The kind that involves company expense accounts being used for personal trips, hotel rooms charged to business accounts, that sort of thing. I stop hammering and stare at her. She used company money. According to the credit card statements you provided, yes, several times. Horizon Agency might be very interested to learn how their employees are spending the corporate budget. Leia's not just a cheater. She's a thief. The woman I married, the woman I built a life with, has been stealing from her employer to fund her affair. The knowledge sits in my stomach like a lead weight. What happens now? Now we wait and we prepare. Your wife made her choices, Owen. Now she gets to live with them. At 7:30, I'm sitting in Murphy's Pub nursing a beer and watching the door. Frankie's working the bar, and he keeps shooting me looks that say he's ready for whatever happens next. The place is busier than usual for a Tuesday night. Word's gotten around that there's going to be a show. Leia walks in at 8:15, fashionably late as always. She's wearing jeans and a sweater, trying to look casual, but I can see the tension in her shoulders. She looks around the room like she's entering enemy territory, which she is. She spots me in the back booth and walks over, ignoring the stares and whispers that follow her. This is a blue-collar bar, and everyone here knows what she did. In a town this size, secrets don't stay secret for long. Owen. She slides into the booth across from me, her hands shaking slightly. Leia, you look good. You look nervous. She tries to smile, but it comes out wrong. Can we try to be civil about this? I'm being civil. Civil would be having this conversation through lawyers. Civil would be letting the whole town know about your creative accounting with company funds. Her face goes pale. What are you talking about? I pull out a folder and spread the papers across the table. Credit card statements, hotel receipts, restaurant bills, all charged to Horizon Agency's corporate account, all coinciding with her business trips with Ben. Recognize these? She stares at the papers like they might bite her. Owen, I can explain. I'm sure you can. You always were good with explanations. It's not what it looks like. It looks like you've been stealing from your employer to pay for your affair. What else could it be? Leia glances around the room, noticing that several people are watching our table. Could we please discuss this somewhere more private? No, you made our private business public when you started screwing Ben Foster. Now we talk about it where I want to talk about it. She leans forward, lowering her voice. Owen, please. I know I made mistakes, but mistakes. Leah, you had a 4-month affair. You lied to my face every single day. You used company money to pay for hotel rooms. Those aren't mistakes. That's a pattern of choices. I never meant for it to happen. Which part? The cheating or the stealing? Any of it. Her voice rises, then she catches herself and leans back. It just happened. Ben and I were working late on the Morrison account, and we started talking, and you decided your marriage vows were more like suggestions. It wasn't like that. What was it like, Isla? Help me understand how you justify 4 months of betrayal. She's quiet for a long moment, staring at her hands. When she looks up, there are tears in her eyes. But I'm not moved by them anymore. You don't understand the pressure I'm under at work, the expectations, the competition. Ben gets it. He understands what I'm trying to build, what you're trying to build, or what you're trying to escape from. That's not fair. Fair. You want to talk about fair? I gather up the papers and lean forward. Fair would have been telling me you were unhappy before you started looking for someone else. Fair would have been giving our marriage a chance before you decided it wasn't worth saving. I tried to talk to you. When? When did you try? Lots of times. But you never listen. You just make jokes or change the subject. Give me an example. She opens her mouth, then closes it. She can't think of one because there isn't one. She never tried to fix our marriage. She just decided it was broken and went looking for a replacement. That's what I thought. Owen, I want to work this out. I want to fix this. Fix what? The marriage you already threw away, or the criminal charges you're about to face? Criminal charges? Embezzlement? Leah, using company funds for personal expenses. That's a felony. The color drains from her face completely. You wouldn't? I don't have to. Your boss is going to find out anyway. Patricia Hendris is very thorough, and she believes in full disclosure during divorce proceedings. Please don't do this. I'm not doing anything. I'm just letting the truth come out. Leah starts crying then. Real tears this time. But I'm beyond being moved by her pain. She made her choices, and now she gets to live with the consequences. What do you want from me? She asks. I want you to admit what you did. I want you to take responsibility for destroying our marriage. I want you to stop pretending you're the victim here. I admit it, okay? I had an affair. I made bad choices. I hurt you. Is that what you want to hear? It's a start. What else? I want you to understand that actions have consequences. You can't just say you're sorry and expect everything to go back to normal. So, what happens now? I finish my beer and stand up. Now you get to find out what life looks like when you don't have a husband cleaning up your messes. Owen, wait. But I'm already walking away. I've heard enough excuses and justifications to last a lifetime. Leah made her choice when she started sleeping with Ben Foster. Now she gets to live with it. Frankie follows me outside. How'd it go? About like you'd expect. She's sorry, but she's not really sorry. She wants to fix things, but she doesn't want to change anything. What's next? Next, I make sure everyone in town knows exactly who Ben Foster is, starting with his employer. Wednesday morning, I drive to the Horizon Agency building downtown. It's one of those glass and steel monuments to corporate success, all clean lines and expensive furniture, the kind of place that looks impressive but feels cold. I'm wearing my best suit, the one I bought for Leia's company Christmas party last year, and carrying a briefcase full of documents. I look like a businessman, which is exactly what I want. The receptionist is young and blonde, and has the kind of smile that's been professionally trained. Good morning. How can I help you? I'd like to speak with the managing partner. It's about one of your employees. Do you have an appointment? No, but I think he'll want to see me. It's about Ben Foster and some irregularities in company expense reports. Her smile falters slightly. Let me check if Mr. Davidson is available. She makes a phone call, speaking in hushed tones. After a few minutes, she hangs up and gestures toward the elevator. Mr. Davidson will see you now. 15th floor. Richard Davidson is exactly what I expected. Silver hair, expensive suit, the kind of handshake that says he's used to being the most important person in the room. His office overlooks the harbor, and the walls are covered with awards and photographs of him with various politicians and celebrities. Mr. Price, is it? My receptionist said you have some concerns about Ben Foster. I do. I open my briefcase and pull out the financial documents Patricia Hendris helped me organize. I believe Mr. Foster has been using company credit cards for personal expenses. Davidson's expression doesn't change, but I see something flicker in his eyes. That's a serious accusation. It's a serious situation. I spread the papers across his desk. Hotel rooms, restaurant bills, travel expenses, all charged to your corporate account, all coinciding with personal trips Mr. Foster took with my wife. Your wife? Leah Price. She works here too. Creative director. Now Davidson's expression does change. He leans forward and starts examining the documents more closely. These are photocopies. How did you obtain this information? Divorce proceedings. My lawyer requested financial records as part of the asset discovery process. Davidson is quiet for several minutes, studying the papers. Finally, he looks up at me. Mr. Price, I appreciate you bringing this to my attention. We take financial irregularities very seriously. I thought you might. However, I should point out that making false accusations against employees can have legal consequences. I understand. That's why I made sure all my information was accurate before I came here. Davidson picks up his phone and dials an extension. Janet, I need you to pull all the expense reports for Ben Foster and Leah Price for the past 6 months. Bring them to my office immediately. He hangs up and looks at me again. This will take some time to investigate properly. I understand. I just thought you should know what your employees are doing with company money. Indeed. Is there anything else? Just one thing. I'd appreciate it if you didn't mention that I was the source of this information. At least, not until your investigation is complete. Of course. I pack up my papers and stand to leave. Thank you for your time, Mr. Davidson. Thank you for bringing this to my attention. I'm halfway to the elevator when I hear Davidson's voice behind me. Mr. Price. I turn around. I'm sorry about your marriage. That must be very difficult. It is, but sometimes difficult things need to be done. I take the elevator down to the lobby, feeling lighter than I have in months. Ben Foster is about to learn that actions have consequences. So is Leah. My phone buzzes as I'm walking to my truck. Text message from an unknown number. This is Ben. We need to talk, now. I text back. I told you where to find me. This is serious. I know. That's why I'm taking it seriously. You don't know what you're messing with. I know exactly what I'm messing with. The question is, do you? I don't get a response, but I don't need one. Ben Foster's world is about to come crashing down, and there's nothing he can do to stop it. That evening, I'm back at Murphy's pub celebrating with Frankie and a few of the regulars. Word's already getting around town about what happened at Horizon Agency. In a place this size, gossip travels faster than the speed of light. So, what do you think's going to happen? Frankie asks. I think Ben Foster is going to learn what it feels like to lose everything he thought was important. And Leah? Leah's going to learn that choices have consequences, even for pretty blonde women who think they're smarter than everyone else. My phone rings. Number. You going to answer that? Frankie asks. Eventually, but not tonight. Tonight, I'm going to enjoy my beer and watch the Red Sox lose another game. You're a cold man, Owen Price. No, Frankie. I'm a fair man. There's a difference. The phone stops ringing, then starts again. I turn it off and order another beer. Tomorrow I'll deal with whatever crisis Leia thinks she's facing. Tonight, I'm going to enjoy the first peaceful evening I've had in months. Because tomorrow, the real fun begins. Thursday morning brings 3 missed calls from Leia and 2 from Ben. I ignore them all and head to work, where I'm installing new kitchen cabinets in a house that reminds me of the one I shared with my wife. Past tense. Everything about Leia is past tense now. Tommy and Dave are already there, and they've got news. "Boss," Tommy says, grinning like he just won the lottery. "You hear what happened at that fancy ad agency yesterday?" "Enlighten me. My brother-in-law works building maintenance there. Says they had security escort 2 people out around noon, a man and a woman carrying boxes." "Interesting." Gets better. Word is they were caught stealing company money, using corporate credit cards for personal stuff. Dave laughs. "Guess your wife's boyfriend ain't as smart as he thought." I keep my expression neutral, but inside, I'm smiling. Richard Davidson works fast. I respect that in a man. My phone buzzes. Text from Leia. "Owen, they fired us both. We need to talk." I show the message to Tommy. "What do you think I should say?" "How about actions have consequences?" Too philosophical. "How about good luck with that?" Perfect. I type the message and hit send. The response comes immediately. "This is all your fault." "No," I type back. "This is all your fault. I just made sure the right people found out about it. You destroyed my career. You destroyed your career. I just documented it." My phone starts ringing. Leia again. I let it go to voicemail, then listen to the message while my crew watches. "Owen, you can't do this to me. I'll sue you for defamation, for harassment, for everything I can think of. You think you've won something, but you haven't. Ben and I are going to fight this, and we're going to make you pay." I delete the message and get back to work. Leia's angry, which means she's scared. Good. She should be scared. She's about to learn what life looks like when you don't have a safety net. Around noon, Ben Foster shows up at my job site again. This time he's not wearing a suit, just jeans and a polo shirt that probably costs more than most people make in a day. He looks like he hasn't slept, and there's something desperate in his eyes. "Owen." He gets out of his car and marches toward the house. "We need to talk." I come outside, wiping sawdust off my hands. Tommy and Dave follow, both of them grinning. They're enjoying this drama more than a soap opera. "Then, you're looking a little rough around the edges." "You know damn well why I'm here." "Enlighten me." "You went to my boss. You got us both fired." I shared some public information with a concerned employer. What he did with that information was his choice. Public information. Those were private financial records. Nothing's private in a divorce proceeding. Ben, you should have thought about that before you started using company money to pay for hotel rooms. Ben's face is red now, and his hands are clenched into fists. "You destroyed our careers over a personal grudge. I exposed your theft. There's a difference." "It wasn't theft. Those were legitimate business expenses." "Really? Which business requires overnight stays at romantic bed and breakfasts? Which client meetings happen in hotel rooms with champagne service?" Ben doesn't have an answer for that, so he changes tactics. "Look, I know you're angry about Leia, but taking it out on our careers isn't going to fix your marriage." "My marriage is over, Ben. You made sure of that. Now I'm making sure you understand what that costs." "What do you want? Money? I can pay you." "I don't want your money." "Then what?" I step closer to him, close enough that he has to look up slightly to meet my eyes. "I want you to understand that actions have consequences. I want you to learn what it feels like to lose everything you thought was secure. I want you to know what it's like to be betrayed by someone you trusted. This is insane. You can't destroy people's lives because your feelings got hurt. I'm not destroying anything. I'm just making sure the truth comes out. The truth? You want the truth? Ben's voice is getting louder, and people in the neighboring houses are starting to notice. The truth is, your wife was miserable with you. The truth is, she needed someone who could appreciate her intelligence and her ambition. The truth is, you were holding her back. And the truth is, you're a trust fund baby who's never worked for anything in his life. The truth is, you're facing criminal charges for embezzlement. The truth is, Leia chose a loser who can't even afford his own apartment. That hits home. Ben's face goes from red to purple. You don't know anything about me. I know everything about you, Ben. I know about the gambling debts. I know about the DUI you covered up. I know about the job you lost in Boston for creative accounting. I know you're not the successful businessman you pretend to be. Ben stares at me like I just slapped him. How could you possibly know about Boston? Small world. People talk, especially when they find out someone's been lying about their past. You had me investigated. I had you researched. Public records, court documents, credit reports, all perfectly legal. Amazing what you can find when you know where to look. Ben takes a step back, and I can see the fear in his eyes now. He's starting to understand that he's not dealing with some heartbroken husband who's going to roll over and accept defeat. What do you want from me? I want you to leave town. I want you to stay away from my wife. I want you to disappear from our lives completely. And if I don't, then everyone in this town is going to know exactly who Ben Foster really is. Starting with the police, who might be very interested in your outstanding warrants. What warrants? I pull out my phone and show him a screenshot. Failure to appear in Suffolk County. Something about unpaid fines related to that DUI you thought you buried. Ben's face goes white. That was supposed to be sealed. Nothing stays sealed forever, especially when people start asking the right questions. He's quiet for a long moment, staring at the ground. When he looks up, the arrogance is gone, replaced by something that looks like defeat. You're really going to destroy me over this? I'm going to make sure you face the consequences of your choices, just like everyone else has to. And Leia, what about her? Leia made her choice. Now she gets to live with it. Ben gets back in his car without another word. As he drives away, I notice he's not speeding anymore. The fight's gone out of him. Tommy claps me on the shoulder. Boss, that was beautiful. It's not over yet. That evening, I'm at home working in my garage and enjoying the silence when Leia shows up. She's driving a rental car, probably can't afford the payments on her BMW anymore, and she looks like she's been crying. She doesn't knock, she just walks into my garage like she still lives here. Owen, we need to talk. No, we don't. Yes, we do. You've gone too far. I keep working on the cabinet I'm building, not looking at her. Have I? You got us both fired. You destroyed Ben's reputation. You're trying to have him arrested. I'm not trying to have him arrested. He did that himself when he decided to skip court dates. This has to stop. It'll stop when justice is served. Justice? Oh, and this isn't justice. This is revenge. I finally look at her. She's still beautiful, even with red eyes and mascara stains on her cheeks. But beauty doesn't excuse betrayal. What's the difference? The difference is justice is fair. This is just cruel. Fair. You want to talk about fair? I put down my tools and turned to face her completely. Was it fair when you lied to me for 4 months? Was it fair when you used company money to pay for your affair? Was it fair when you made me look like a fool in front of the whole town? I never meant for any of this to happen, but it did happen. And now you get to deal with the consequences. Owen, please. I'm sorry. I'm truly, deeply sorry for what I did to you, to us. But destroying Ben isn't going to fix anything. It's not about fixing anything. It's about making sure he understands that actions have consequences. He's lost his job. His reputation is ruined. Isn't that enough? Is it enough that you destroyed our marriage? Is it enough that you stole from your employer? Is it enough that you lied to my face every single day for 4 months? She doesn't have an answer for that. I didn't think so. Laya starts crying again, but I'm immune to her tears now. She cried when her grandmother died. She cried when we got married. She cried when she was happy, when she was sad, when she was frustrated. Tears don't mean anything anymore. What do you want me to do, Owen? How do I fix this? You can't fix this. Some things, once they're broken, can't be repaired. So, what happens now? Now you learn to live with the choices you made. You find a new job, if anyone will hire you after what happened at Horizon. You find a new place to live. You build a new life without me in it. And Ben? Ben's not my problem anymore. He's yours. She's quiet for a long moment, looking around the garage at the tools and projects that represent the life she threw away. I loved you, Owen. I really did. Past tense. That's appropriate. I still love you. No, you don't. You love the security I represented. You love having someone to clean up your messes. You love having a safety net. But you don't love me. That's not true. If it's not true, then why did you choose Ben over me? Why did you lie to me instead of talking to me? Why did you steal company money instead of asking me for help again? She has no answer. That's what I thought. Leia walks toward the door, then stops. Owen, what? I hope someday you can forgive me. I already have forgiven you, Leia. But forgiveness doesn't mean forgetting, and it doesn't mean there aren't consequences. She leaves without another word, and I go back to work on my cabinet. It's going to be beautiful when it's finished. Solid wood, perfect joints, built to last. The kind of thing that doesn't break under pressure. The kind of thing my marriage should have been. Friday morning brings news that makes my coffee taste even better than usual. Frankie calls while I'm getting ready for work, and he's laughing so hard he can barely speak. Owen, you gotta hear this. My cousin S, the one who works security at that fancy apartment complex, he just called me. Yeah, Ben Foster got evicted yesterday. Couldn't make the rent. S watched him load everything he owns into a U-Haul truck. Interesting. Gets better. Turns out he owes 3 months back rent. The management company's going after him for the money plus damages. What kind of damages? Red wine stains on the carpet. Hole in the wall. Missing fixtures. Sal says it looks like someone had a real good tantrum. I can picture it. Ben Foster, the sophisticated ad executive, throwing a fit like a spoiled child when reality finally caught up with him. Where'd he go? Nobody knows. Just packed up and left town. Didn't even tell his landlord where he was going. Smart move. Probably the first smart thing he's done in months. I hang up and finish my coffee, feeling satisfied in a way I haven't felt since this whole mess started. Ben Foster is gone. Yayla's unemployed and homeless, and I'm free to rebuild my life without their drama. But the universe isn't done with surprises yet. At 10, while I'm installing a new bathroom vanity, my phone rings. It's Patricia Hendris, my lawyer. Owen, we need to talk. Can you come to my office? What's wrong? Nothing's wrong. Something's very right, but I need to explain it in person. An hour later, I'm sitting in Patricia's office listening to news that makes my week even better. Leia's attorney called this morning. They want to settle the divorce immediately with no contest. What does that mean? It means she's giving you everything. The house, the cars, the savings accounts, even her 401k. She just wants out. I stare at Patricia, not sure I heard correctly. Everything? Everything. She's also agreeing to pay your legal fees. Why would she do that? Because she's scared. The embezzlement charges are real, Owen. The district attorney's office is investigating, and they're taking it seriously. Leah knows she's looking at possible jail time, and she doesn't want a messy divorce on top of criminal charges. Jail time? It's possible. Depends on how much money was involved and whether the company decides to press charges. But yes, it's possible. I sit back in my chair trying to process this information. Leah, who always landed on her feet, who always found a way out of trouble, is finally facing consequences she can't charm or lie her way out of. What do I need to do? Nothing. Just sign the papers when they're ready. You'll be divorced and financially whole within 30 days. And Leah? Leah will have to figure out her own problems for once. I leave Patricia's office feeling like I've won the lottery, not just because of the money, but because of what it represents. Justice, consequences, the universe finally balancing the scales. But I'm not done yet. That evening, I drive to the Marriott downtown where Leah's been staying since I changed the locks. I don't go inside. I just sit in the parking lot watching the entrance, thinking about everything that's happened. At 8:30, Leah comes out of the hotel. She's wearing the same clothes she had on yesterday, and she's carrying a suitcase. She looks around the parking lot like she's lost, then pulls out her phone and makes a call. I can't hear what she's saying, but I can see her face. She looks desperate, scared, alone. Good. She hangs up and starts walking toward the bus station. The bus station. Leah Price, who used to complain if her BMW wasn't washed weekly, is taking public transportation. I follow her, keeping my distance. She buys a ticket and sits on a bench, checking her phone every few minutes, waiting for someone to call, someone to rescue her, someone to make her problems disappear. But nobody calls. Nobody comes. She's finally learning what it feels like to be truly alone. The bus arrives at 9:15. It's heading to Springfield, probably the cheapest ticket she could afford. Leah gets on with her single suitcase, looking back at the town she's leaving behind. Our eyes meet through the bus window for just a moment. She looks like she wants to say something, but the bus pulls away before she gets the chance. I watch until the taillights disappear, then drive home to the house that's mine again. Saturday morning, I'm in my workshop building something new when Mrs. Klein knocks on my door. She's carrying a plate of cookies and wearing the expression of someone who has gossip to share. "Owen, honey, you got a minute for you, Mrs. Klein?" "I've got all day." She sits in my kitchen, looking around at the space that's been cleaned and reorganized since Leah left. Place looks good. Feels different. It is different. I saw that girl leave yesterday with her suitcase. Did you? Mm-hmm. Looked like she was crying. People cry for all kinds of reasons. Mrs. Klein nods thoughtfully. They do indeed. Sometimes they cry because they're sad. Sometimes they cry because they're sorry. Sometimes they cry because they finally understand what they lost. Which kind do you think Leah was doing? All three, I'd say. We sit in comfortable silence for a while, eating cookies and watching the morning light stream through windows that I installed with my own hands. What you going to do now, Owen? Now? Now I'm going to finish the projects I started, fix the things that need fixing, build the things that need building. Sounds like a good plan. It is a good plan. Mrs. Klein stands to leave, then pauses at the door. Owen? Yes, ma'am. You did the right thing. That girl made her choices, and you made sure she faced the consequences. That's not cruelty. That's justice. Thank you, Mrs. Clenny. Don't thank me. Thank yourself. You stood up for what was right, even when it was hard. After she leaves, I go back to my workshop and continue building. I'm making a dining room table this time. Solid oak, built to last generations. The kind of furniture that doesn't break under pressure, doesn't fall apart when tested, doesn't disappoint the people who depend on it. My phone buzzes. Text message from an unknown number. Owen, this is Leia. I'm sorry for everything. I hope someday you can forgive me. I stare at the message for a long moment, then delete it without responding. Some conversations are over. Some bridges once burned can't be rebuilt. I go back to work, shaping wood with tools that don't lie. Building something that will last long after the people who hurt me are forgotten. Sunday afternoon, I'm at Murphy's pub, celebrating with Frankie and the regulars. The Red Sox are winning for once, and the beer is cold, and life feels good again. So, what's next for Owen Price? Frankie asks. Next, I finish my projects. I grow my business. I find someone who deserves what I have to offer. Think you'll ever get married again? Maybe someday. When I find someone who understands that love isn't just a feeling, it's a choice you make every day. And if Leia ever comes back, I finish my beer and signal for another one. She won't. And if she does, she'll find the locks are still changed. You're a hard man, Owen Price. No, Frankie. I'm a fair man. There's a difference. My phone rings. Unknown number. I let it go to voicemail, then listen to the message. Owen, this is Ben Foster. I know you probably don't want to hear from me, but I wanted you to know that I'm sorry for everything. You were right about consequences. I'm learning that now. I hope you can find some happiness. I delete the message and put my phone away. Ben Foster sounds broken, defeated, humbled. Good. Maybe now he'll think twice before destroying someone else's marriage. The sun sets over the town I've lived in my whole life. The place where I built my reputation and my business and my future. Tomorrow I'll get back to work, building things that last, fixing things that are broken, creating something worthwhile with my hands and my skills and my determination. Leia chose her path when she decided I wasn't good enough for her anymore. She chose lies over truth, theft over honesty, betrayal over loyalty. Now she gets to live with those choices. Ben Foster chose his path when he decided to pursue a married woman, when he decided to use company money for personal pleasure, when he decided that rules didn't apply to him. Now he gets to live with those choices too. And I chose my path when I decided to fight back, to expose the truth, to make sure that actions have consequences. Now I get to live with that choice. I'm comfortable with my choice. The bar is getting crowded now, filled with people who work with their hands and pay their bills and keep their promises. People who understand that character matters, that integrity isn't negotiable, that some things are worth fighting for. My phone buzzes one more time. Another unknown number, another message I don't want to hear. I turn the phone off and order another beer. Tomorrow I'll deal with whatever new drama the universe decides to throw at me. Tonight, I'm going to enjoy my beer and watch the Red Sox try to hold on to their lead and celebrate the fact that justice sometimes actually does prevail. Because sometimes the good guys win. Sometimes the cheaters get caught. Sometimes people who think they're smarter than everyone else learn that they're not as clever as they thought. And sometimes, a blue-collar contractor from a small New England town gets to watch his cheating wife and her trust fund boyfriend learn what it feels like to lose everything they thought was secure. I raise my beer in a toast to the empty air, to the justice that finally arrived, to the consequences that finally caught up with the people who deserved them. Here's tequila entry, I say quietly. Sometimes the door swings both ways. Frankie looks at me curiously. What's that supposed to mean? It means some people think they can walk in and out of other people's lives whenever they want, But eventually they find out that the locks have been changed and they can't get back in. They can't get back in. I finish my beer and head home to the house that's mine again, to the life that's mine again, to the future that's mine to build, however I want. Leia's gone, Ben's gone. The drama is over. The truth is out, and justice has been served. Now I get to find out what comes next.